You are live. Hey.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, I'm Dart.
I'm Lisa.
Welcome, everybody. And it is
Dart and Lisa Mondays.
absolutely. I know y'all been waiting with bated breath, for us to show up.
Is that right, Dart? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So, hey, we want to take a moment to hope everybody that is a father had a wonderful Father's Day yesterday, and you got to spend time with your fathers. I know I got to, unfortunately. Lisa.
But some people just have heavenly fathers.
That's right.
Or they
That's
just
right.
remember them, or they take that time and memorialize, that
That's
day,
right.
which is kind of cool too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. I saw some really cool old pictures people posted too. I thought that was really nice.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot done on Facebook. So
yeah. Well, Dart, we forgot to say what we believe.
Well, first off, is that we believe that life is made up of relationships, your health, and your wealth.
Absolutely, and we believe financial planning should be fun so that your future could be fun and you can enjoy your life in the future.
That's right.
That's right.
Whether it's retiring or whether it's just transitioning into something that you're passionate about, or because retirement may not be the word you want to use in this day and time.
I know. We got to think up a new term for that, Dart.
Yeah.
Or if y'all have a suggestion, put it on there.
That's right.
Maybe transitioning to the next phase.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, actually.
It is starting a new business.
It's new transition and living out your passion, so.
Yeah. And shout out to McKenna. Hey, McKenna.
Hey, yes. McKenna is our infamous hall monitor that's keeping things running in the background as we're up here entertaining.
Yeah. So McKenna, put your info on there. She's great at designing logos, helping you with your brand or a website, and
picking your colors.
Oh, she's also great to pick her brain too.
That's right.
Yeah, she's awesome. So tonight we're going to talk about something interesting. Oh, wait, let's first make our disclaimer, Dart.
Okay.
Which is
that we're going to talk about legal documents, but however, we are not attorneys. But we can read.
Yes, Dart, we can read.
That's right. And I say that in jest, but seriously, you should read your legal documents. You should make sure that your wishes are written down in a legal form. But I mean, it's like everybody has we in our working with clients and stuff, is that all of a sudden they start telling us all the things that they want to happen, and then the next question we ask is, well, do you have the legal documents to back that? No. Well, okay. Because just because you wish it wants to happen and then an emergency happens and, there's disability or even there's death, what you wish and what's on paper, are two different things. And you want to make sure that they are the same thing.
Absolutely. But I think a lot of times people say, oh, what do I need? A will, a trust, a POA, a living will.
What are all those things?
Exactly. Let's talk about that, Art. Let's talk about what some of these things are. Well, first of all, I think the big question is, what's the difference between a will and a trust?
Okay.
Yeah. So let's start out with the will.
Can I answer that?
You want to answer? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I won't answer my own question.
No, you can answer it.
We do that all the time.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, go ahead, Dart.
We'll ask the question and then we'll want to answer it. So, but a will is the simplest form of document for when someone passes away, and sometimes attorneys will call it, I love you wills. It means that I love this person, so I'm leaving all my estate to her, and she loves me, and she's leaving all her estate to me. So it's very simple.
But it only comes into effect after you pass away.
That's right.
That's the important part.
That's the important part.
Yes.
It's like somebody's got to die for an executor to come into the picture.
Okay, so versus a trust.
Right. As a trust, you have a trust.
Although I trust you.
Yeah. So yeah, that is something that in legal terms as we'll get through the different things, is that they use the same words that mean different things.
Yes.
And so that will pop up here in a minute. So a trust, the big thing to remember about a trust is that it is private.
Yes.
That's right. When you're alive, they call it a revocable living trust.
Yes.
That means that if it's revocable, you can make changes.
Yeah. Yes, and that's important.
That's right. So typically, if it's husband and wife, if it's a normal size estate, the husband and wife are the trustees, and it's their one trust. If you have a larger estate, sometimes the attorneys will recommend that you have independent trust.
Yes.
All right.
But it also helps with the talk about probate here.
Well, So let's go back to the will. When the will has to go through a probate process in your local county and go through the courts, and so the opposite of privacy with a trust, a will, when it is probated, it is out here for everyone in the public who wants to see, will see. And so past clients, we have seen probate take a year and a half.
Yes.
And it be a very simple probate. There's nobody contesting it. There's no arguments. It's just, maybe there's only a couple of beneficiaries to the will. But it's still just when you walk through the process and there's one or two pieces of property, it takes about 18 months and a lot of time and a lot of legwork.
And you brought up a good thing that somebody could just come and what we were talking about, somebody just could come and say, oh, they owed me money. Like if you're just you have
to open it up for any creditor.
Yes. Right. Which is kind of terrifying. What is it that you say though, Dart? There's no will. What do you say?
Oh, well, if you back up and say, well, I don't have a will, I don't have a trust, I don't need one. Well, if you don't have a will, then the state that you live in has a will for you.
Yeah, right. And it's probably not what your will was.
It is not going to be what your will is. We'll just go far and we'll step out on the limb. We're not attorneys, as we said, but we will step out on the limb and say that the will that the state has for you is probably not going to be your wills and your wishes.
Exactly. So let's talk about a few other things that people have questions about, Dart. One would be, let's talk about a POA.
Okay. Before we do that, let's just one more thing about trust.
Absolutely.
While we got that. So there's another term. I mentioned the revocable living trust, and the acronym is RLT, and so it is. So it can be changed as you live, as you want to put your vehicles in it. You want to sell one of your vehicles, transition out. You put your homes in it. You build another home. You move to another home. You transition out. You change the details.
Or someone passes away. I mean, you just have to change it.
So whenever someone passes away, then that will becomes. I'm sorry. Then I'll get there. Yeah, let me correct myself.
It's okay.
Yeah, the trust becomes it transitions from revocable to irrevocable. So at the point in which you pass, then that kind of like the doors close on the trust.
Yes, but I feel like the term irrevocable trust has a little bit of a stigma to it that people just like, oh, I hate that. Right. But sometimes there are good reasons to have irrevocable
That's right.
trust.
And usually it's the beneficiaries that are being protected by an irrevocable trust that they would love to get all the money and spend all the money very fast. They're the ones who complain the most and put bad things out there on the wonderful world of Mr. Google. And
but I do think that trusts help with gift tax and estate tax. Taxes are so important to us.
It absolutely can.
It's something to watch out for.
That's right. So properly done. And so, did I
let you say what you wanted to say about?
Yeah. So the contrast is that a irrevocable trust can be set up. But that would be something that once it's set up, then it's kind of a closed trust, and there's certain things that will happen. But the beauty is it can be designed, whether it be a revocable trust or irrevocable trust, it can be designed as hands from the grave to make directives and
at certain points and dates,
points and times, and that kind of thing. And of course, an irrevocable is like you can set it all up. It's locked in stone and put it in place
and forget about it.
But it's funny is that I've heard people talk about what they want done, and they truly have a will, and they start saying, well, at this point in time, I want this to happen, and this point in time, I want this to happen, and then whenever, so this comes back to the first statement that's saying we want you to read your documents. If you want multiple things to happen after your death, a will typically is not going to do that. It's
not going to do the job.
Right.
No.
And I have seen it where that there is a will, and out of the will, a trust is created.
Yes.
And frankly, we live in Franklin, and Nashville is straight north of us.
16 miles.
Right. So I actually ran across this case once, and the clients didn't take my advice, and they went and got a will done.
Imagine that.
No, it's very rare. So truly, it is very rare. But I don't mean to be smart aleck. But and so it came back in, and I'm reading this very complicated will, and so I call 3 of my trusted attorney friends, and I go, "Wait a minute, this looks like they want to go from Franklin to Tennessee. They want to go from Franklin to Nashville, but they set the will up. It's very complicated. It creates a trust. Am I just missing it? Because it looks like they're going to Dixon to get to Nashville, when really I just wanted to go, and a trust would just go ahead and take them from Franklin to Nashville." So
all that to say, there was a shorter way to go about it.
That's
more directed
yeah,
way.
It's very complicated, and so that's you just want to you want to ask questions, and you want to be able and just think things out.
Right. The important thing is sitting down and talking about what it is that you want to happen.
Right.
And then your attorney and us, like as a financial planner, we love
being on the team
with the attorneys
right.
and with the clients present.
Right.
And that way there are no questions, and we feel like everything right. is covered.
Whenever our clients need an attorney or need legal documents, we will always be on the phone with the attorney on that initial interview. And the reason is that there's always 1 or 2 times where the client is not sure how to answer the attorney's question. Mm-hmm. And then it's a matter of just open up a discussion and play some what ifs. And then, the attorneys right. are very much on board with doing that. And
not missing valuable pieces of
that's
information.
Right. And then of course, the end result is for you, getting the best product, getting the best legal product that you're looking for.
Yes. Yes. So okay. So while we're still on wills, let's go to a living will.
Wow.
I want to talk about that as well.
Yes, it's very, so this is one of the things that's very confusing, and I've had people, just not understanding what the documents are called, and they say, yeah, I've got a living will. Oh yeah, and it's and it could be a revocable living trust. But a living will, what is that?
Well, that is a will for while you're alive. It doesn't wait until after you're dead. So that's
right.
important. But a lot of times, sometimes things happen in life that the unexpected happens.
They should have named it something else.
They should have named it something
first
else.
and foremost.
Right. So, but what happens if suddenly you become incapacitated?
Right. What it is, it should have been named, it's a medical directive.
That's a better word for it.
Yeah. But if you say living will, really it's your wishes, your desires. Do you want to be, if you
on life support, do you want to have these certain treatments? Do you want them to do all that they can? Do you want resuscitation?
Do you want to be a donor? Organ donor. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So these things are important because we never know.
Right. That's right. Things happen. We do know that things happen. So.
Well, yeah.
But we just don't know what those things are.
I feel like I'm supposed to skip that part of the story.
Yes.
So yeah, we're not going to talk about all the stories right now. But okay, how about a POA? Same kind of thing,
yes,
but a little different.
Absolutely.
Because there are different POAs.
POA stands for power of attorney. And so there's a durable power of attorney. And so there's basically, you can break it into, it is a medical, who do you want to be in charge of, making the decisions for your medically if you are incapacitated.
Right. And there's also a financial POA.
That's right. So the financial power of attorney is whenever, who do you want to take charge?
Should something happen.
Right.
And that's a person of your choosing.
That's right.
That's important.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have those because a power of attorney is only good for while you are alive.
That's right.
Not good for after someone passes away.
That's right. So that's where the will and the trust takes over whenever you decease. Yes. But while you're alive, and you can be, you can be fully capacitated. And I believe in that, is that once you reach an age when you're still in full capacity, is work with your power of attorney for financial things and start handing it off and observe how things are being done. And it's a whole lot less stress because we've seen
on the family member or the executor of your will, if they already have an idea of what's going on.
Right. That's exactly right. Where things are, what's going on, and so forth. But unfortunately, we've seen a lot of cases, and it comes to whenever people enter the elder care journey and maybe there's a stroke, broken hip, they have to go, the doctor says you have to go to an assisted living and you can't come back. That is the first time that anybody in their family knows whether there's legal documents or not. And a lot of times there's not. And there's multiple powers of attorney. There's one called a springing power of attorney, which means if you're incapacitated, then it springs into action. However, if you are needing someone to take over right now, you don't want a springing power of attorney. You want the power of attorney just to be in force. In force, right. So I've actually saw a case where the daughter was taking mom around looking at assisted livings. They said, you've got to have a power of attorney. So they go to an attorney's office. It's not one that they knew or whatever. They really just kind of walked in. And unfortunately, they didn't ask them what they needed the power of attorney for. And so they just assumed. And then so it was a springing power of attorney. And so it's like, you just wasted your money, or you need to go back and get this changed and get this fixed so that it's in effect right now.
That's why it's important when you sit down with someone to let them know what it is that you're wanting. And I think it's always important just to be prepared.
Right.
So that's one of the things that we do provide for our clients.
That's absolutely.
Right. Like when afterwards, we have something called
is the estate directory.
The estate directory.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we love this estate directory. I think you will too. So let's talk about what all we have in the estate directory. I think this is important.
Right.
Well, it's your personal information.
That's right.
Right.
It starts out with that. So just the first page where you can just put all the information about yourself that you want, and husband and wife can do it together.
And then and then if something happens to you, it's going to you've already stated.
Right. The relatives that you want notified.
That's important. Right. Very first and foremost. Right. All the people to notify, the key people to notify.
Right.
And then
your advisors to notify.
Your advisors. And then your spiritual advisor.
Right.
And your executor.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's important. And if you haven't thought about that, you need to be thinking about who you want to be executor of your estate. That's important. Yeah. Everyone should have one.
Right.
Let's see what else. Oh, a guardian. That's important because if you have minor children, we didn't talk about that, but appointing a guardian and
an alternative guardian, right?
Yeah, that would be important too, as well.
Yep. So that's a key point about power of attorneys. So here's what could happen if I'm sorry to back up, but we forgot this very important part because guardianship, conservatorship is where we want to come to or talk about. So as if you some reason became mentally incapacitated, you still function on everything else, but you because maybe the disease, maybe Alzheimer's, maybe dementia. It's a sad that this comes on.
I think conservatorship also is important for if you have
well, wait a minute.
Children.
Sorry. So that's not what the point I'm trying to get to.
Okay, sorry.
So all of a sudden, if you're just living your lives and you don't have any power of attorneys in place, and you are medically diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's, or something like that, it's too late to go get a power of attorney.
Right. That is important.
All right. And so what happens is the court, you have to, for you to, you're no longer, you're in the right state of mind to handle your own financial affairs. Yeah. And so,
or your medical choices.
right. And so, and you can be husband and wife, but is that you have to have a court appointed conservatorship.
Yes.
And that is lengthy, costly, painful.
Good word.
You know, that it's not where you want to go. That a simple $200 or $300 POA could have,
Taking care of that.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, that you had somebody trusted that could be in place, and it's usually, a first, second, even third place for the POA.
Absolutely.
And so, and another thing is from the legal documents, they need to be reviewed and updated at least every 5 years.
Yes, that's a good point. We didn't think about talking about that.
As again, it's just kind of speaking from experience, from working with so many families, as they say, yes, we have a will. Okay, great. When was it done? Well, I guess we did that back when Susie started kindergarten.
Right. 25 years ago.
And so what's her profession now?
Right. But talking about
she's 10 years into her profession, but so just a warning. I don't know what it is. There's a mindset that you should only do legal documents once in a lifetime, and you've checked the box, and so therefore you never have to read it, look at it again, or so forth. It's a state of mind, and so I say that as a warning that don't take that state of mind.
Right.
If just go and read what you have, and if it's been 5 years, they should probably be updated.
Yes, but I did want to touch on conservatorship, because if someone has a minor child,
yes,
that maybe is not going to be capable of making their own decisions, and you know that. I think it's important to start that conservatorship before they turn 18, because you're still the guardian until it is that they turn 18. So that's important to start that as well.
So and another little tip is that you have a child that's 18 and's got accepted to University of Michigan, and they go off to college, and they get taken to the emergency room. They're over 18. There's nothing you can do about it unless you have a POA in place.
It's important.
So if you have a college student, you need a POA on them.
Yes.
So that you can go in and you can help them if there ever was an emergency.
Right. Or make decisions, medical decisions.
Yeah, for their benefit. Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think one more thing that we didn't talk about, like in our estate directory, that I think is important is what it does is ask for a list of where you put your important documents.
Absolutely.
Where do you?
Very handy just for everything. So
yes,
you can. It gives you ideas of things, and you can check the box of where they're at.
Yes, like your will, your trust, your taxes. How about your marriage certificate? How about your birth certificate? How about your gold and silver? How about your valuable possessions?
Yeah, life insurance policies.
Life insurance policies, that's important. What else am I missing?
Right. So
passwords.
Passwords, yeah.
Passwords, that's so important in this day and age. We didn't think about that back then.
Locked up. I mean, it's like there's we've actually just witnessed that where the gentleman, the husband, controlled everything, and then he passed away suddenly. I mean, he had an illness, but he passed away before the family thought he would, and they weren't prepared. And so we
see that a lot.
Yeah,
we see that a lot.
There's a scramble
all too often.
I had another family that's like, they literally is like the wife was the financial person, and the husband was the rainmaker. Wife passed away suddenly. It was like something happened in 6 weeks. Bless her heart, she was gone. And so he and his daughter literally went from bank to bank in Murfreesboro and say, "Do I have any money here?"
Which I think is another good point. I personally would recommend not keeping things in safety deposit boxes. Right. I think that was a thing of the past, and it seemed like a safe place. But we've seen
there are law changes, and then with COVID,
Yes, we seen where banks were closed and
Yeah.
somebody couldn't go into the bank and physically get their
Right.
their money out. They couldn't get their
Right.
information to get a
Mhm.
loan for a house. They
Right.
couldn't get their information. Yes, they couldn't
You
get
know.
a hold of their
Right.
they had some precious metals in there. They couldn't
Right.
get a hold of that. So I think
Yeah.
that's important.
They couldn't get a mortgage because they couldn't get they couldn't get their proper, documents.
Right.
Which
Which took a long time to get
deposit
all.
box.
Yes, was a nightmare.
And so there was another, there was another bank that everyone recognized, and but when Katrina happened, it's like 27 banks.
Yes,
The only thing left standing was the vault.
the vault.
Now here in Tennessee, and we don't have so much problems that it's been that kind of things, but still
There are hurricanes.
there
You don't
are
know whether it's a
tornadoes.
hurricane or tornado.
Tornadoes, just take a bank out and nothing standing but the vault. That is, the bank can't even go in and unlock it without putting a perimeter around it and so forth. So,
yes.
anyway,
So just be mindful of where
Yeah.
you put your things.
That's
I think
right.
that's
Yeah.
everyone's personal decision, but
that's right.
I have my
They-
own personal decision.
That's right. They have vaults that you can get that you can just hide in the ground, put under your walkway and stuff like that.
We don't want to give away all the secrets.
That's right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well,
Gun
okay.
safes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and I would say, don't do that. I had an aunt and uncle, and they put in their basement, they put coffee cans and they put all of their cash in there, and they put coins with dollar bills. And over the years, the dollar bills disintegrated.
Right.
No matter, it didn't matter if
Right.
it ones, tens, fives, hundreds.
Right.
It didn't matter. They were just
Right.
disintegrated. So
Dust
don't
mites
do
get in
that.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Seal it up in Ziploc bags and tape. So just to protect that. But that's happened actually in the safety deposit box as well, where a lot of cash is just disintegrated.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Hard-earned cash.
Yes.
Well, y'all, I hope that you got something out of this show.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and send it to somebody that has those kind of questions. You could
Right.
just like or share this and share it with
Mhm.
somebody who wants to see it. And yeah, like we said, we're not claiming as attorneys, but just offering a little advice especially from experience that we
Right.
see.
That's right.
So, all right, y'all. Well, have a great night, and we'll see you next Monday. We have a really cool gentleman coming on next Monday, so
Mhm.
that'll be fun.
Right.
And yeah, until then,
That's right.
yes.
Have a great week.
Bye, y'all.
All right.